iShowSpeed traveled to China to dive into the culture, try unusual foods, and do backflips on sacred landmarks. But what he didn't expect was to meet one of the most beloved figures in the country, an uncle in a red jacket. This man would go on to follow Speed across several cities, offering food, kindness, and eventually stirring up controversy. This is the story of how one unexpected figure stole the spotlight during one of the year's biggest live streams, and why some believe he had a deeper purpose all along. iShowSpeed is one of YouTube's biggest IRL streamers, known for his high-energy chaos, impulsive behavior, and wild humor. His China trip? Pretty much exactly what fans expected. He did a backflip on the Great Wall, trained with Shaolin monks, and roamed the neon-soaked streets of Chongqing. His streams were packed with viral moments and quickly attracted millions of viewers, including the Chinese government. Clips of Speed spread like wildfire on platforms like RedNote and Douyin, China's version of TikTok. Audiences appreciated his genuine respect for Chinese culture, especially during his visit to the Shaolin Temple, where he came off as polite, curious, and eager to learn. Every shop Speed stopped at suddenly became a hotspot. Business owners saw crowds pour in. It was like instant viral marketing. Naturally, companies started scrambling to get their brands featured on the stream, much to Speed's annoyance. Then came the uncle, in Chengdu. As fans swarmed around Speed, a man in a red jacket appeared with a gift, barbecued goose. A security guard tried to move him away, but Speed's bodyguard, Henry, stepped in. Speed accepted the gift, took a bite, and the man disappeared back into the crowd. Just another random moment. Or so it seemed. In the next stream, in Chongqing, the same uncle appeared again, this time riding a motorcycle and offering pork. Speed didn't eat it, but something felt off. Why was he still following them? Later, in Hong Kong, after an 8-hour stream, the red jacket uncle returned, this time with chicken. "Don't eat that," someone said. The man had traveled across the country just to meet Speed again. By the time Speed reached Shenzhen, it was clear this wasn't random. The uncle was fully committed. He danced when Speed recognized him, offered him a prime drink, and brought snacks for the entire team. At this point, it wasn't just about Speed anymore. The uncle had become part of the stream. "Should we bring him in the car?" Fans in the chat begged Speed to bring him along. And he did. Using a pocket translator, the two bonded. Speed even promised to help the uncle find a wife. Soon, the uncle even made it into the stream thumbnail. Then came the Changsha stream, the moment that made the uncle truly famous. In a sea of thousands, Henry spotted him again and brought him over. The crowd erupted. He handed Speed more braised goose and joined the stream once more. He wasn't just tagging along anymore. He felt like family. He cheered as Speed played mini-games, handed out traditional Chinese tea, and started caring for Henry, Rudiger, Lev, and Slips like they were his own. But not everyone loved how central the uncle had become. In Wenhenyu, Speed was joined by a local tour guide who was supposed to introduce regional cuisine. When the uncle sat beside Speed, the guide snapped, "I'm the boss here. This is my city. We're in the same business. Let me be the host. If you don't move, I'll come to your city and find you." The live stream chat went wild. Chinese viewers immediately dubbed the man the Green Goblin. Within hours, the guide was cyberbullied into locking his social media accounts, and his business's online ratings dropped to 1 star, all for disrespecting the uncle. Some people even started putting up mock posters around the so-called Green Goblin's lair, turning the whole thing into a meme-worthy public roast. Soon after, Speed and the uncle wore traditional Chinese outfits together. The internet loved it. The uncle was seen as humble, generous, and always thinking of others first. But then came the moment that triggered massive outrage. Speed was invited to appear on a show hosted by Mango TV. But when the event began, the uncle was left outside, denied entry. Fans were furious. It got worse. When Speed boarded a bus with other celebrities, the uncle was left behind, just because they exited from a different door. Speed kept asking where he was, and they lied, saying he was tired. But he wasn't. He'd been abandoned. Eventually, the uncle caught up and rejoined Speed for dinner. He made sure Speed avoided spicy or seafood dishes and served food to the entire team. The chat called it true Chinese hospitality, a stark contrast to the behavior of Mango TV and the Green Goblin. So, who exactly is this uncle? Turns out he's from Rongcheng, an old district often described as the Old Hong Kong. He's been appointed as an ambassador for agricultural assistance, promoting local foods from his hometown. The braised goose and snacks, all from Rongcheng. He wasn't chasing fame. He was trying to help farmers from his community earn a living. And it worked. Online orders for Rongchang Foods exploded after his appearance. People even started wanting to visit his town. Braised goose sales reportedly grew more than 10 times thanks to the uncle's exposure. At first, he didn't even know who iShowSpeed was. But when he saw the massive audience, he saw an opportunity to do some good. He spent his own money traveling across China, even borrowing bikes, just to appear for a few minutes on stream. He turned down sponsorship deals for translation devices, choosing instead to rent them so he wouldn't appear to be selling out. He's not rich. In fact, he's filed for bankruptcy in the past, yet he still finds ways to donate to earthquake and flood victims. He once saved a drowning child. He's volunteered as a firefighter, even receiving an award for it. When he finally returned home to Rongchang, locals welcomed him like a hero. He was greeted with cheers and love, not for chasing clout, but for chasing purpose. The very next day, the Rongchang District Committee honored him with a certificate of appreciation and gifted him $13,000. Now, Speed has promised to bring him to America. The only question left is, what happens next?